There's a hum beneath the static of our world, a frequency most never hear. It's in the rustle of leaves on a windless night, the flicker of a streetlight that shouldn't fade, the shadow that moves when nothing else does. Welcome to the shadow frequency, where the veil thins and the impossible steps into the light. I'm your guide for this brief moment, inviting you into a realm of mystery and wonder. Tonight we unravel a legend born in the dark woods of West Virginia. A creature with wings of night and eyes like burning embers. The Mothman awaits. But don't worry, you're in good hands. Here's your host, Matt Wilson, to take you deeper into the shadows.
Welcome, listeners, to The Shadow Frequency, the show where we tune into the strange, the unexplained, and the downright chilling. I'm your host, Matt Wilson, and tonight we're diving deep into a mystery that's haunted the backwoods of West Virginia for nearly 6 decades. Picture this. Glowing red eyes piercing through the night, a figure with wings that shouldn't exist, and a town forever changed by its shadow. We're talking about the Mothman. Is it a harbinger of doom, a misunderstood creature, or something else entirely? Grab your headphones, dim the lights, and let's step into the unknown. Let's set the scene. It's November 12th, 1966 in Clendenin, West Virginia. 5 men are digging a grave in a local cemetery. Already a creepy enough gig, right? But as the sun dips below the horizon, they notice something off. A figure rises from the trees nearby. Not a bird, not a plane, but a humanoid shape with massive wings. They freeze, watching it as it glides over the treetops, silent as a ghost. No flapping, no sound, just pure, eerie movement. That, my friends, is the first recorded sighting of the Mothman. But the real story kicks off a few days later on November 15th in Point Pleasant. 2 young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry, Steve and Mary Millette, are cruising down a deserted road near an old World War II munitions site, nicknamed the TNT area. It's late, it's dark, and they're probably just looking for a quiet spot to, hang out. Then they see it. Standing by an abandoned generator plant is a creature 6 or 7 feet tall with wings folded against its back, and those eyes bright glowing red like 2 headlights boring into their souls. Roger floors it and they peel out of there, but the thing doesn't just stand still. Witnesses say it took off after them. Keeping pace with the car, it speeds up to 100 miles an hour. Imagine that. Your headlights bouncing off the road, your heart pounding, and this winged nightmare gliding behind you, its eyes never blinking. They make it to town shaken and report it to the sheriff. Skeptics say it was just a big bird. Maybe a sandhill crane. But cranes don't chase cars, and they don't leave people trembling for days. Word spreads fast in a small town like Point Pleasant, and soon more people start seeing the Mothman. Over the next year, dozens of reports flood in. A woman claims it landed on her roof. A farmer says it stalked his livestock. Others hear strange noises, high-pitched whines or screeches, before spotting those unmistakable red eyes in the dark. The TNT area becomes ground zero for the phenomenon, with its crumbling buildings and overgrown woods giving it an otherworldly vibe. Now here's where it gets weirder. Some witnesses report feeling sick after seeing it, headaches, nausea, even burns on their skin. Others say they had nightmares or visions of disaster. And then there's the men in black. Yep, those shadowy suits start showing up, allegedly questioning witnesses, telling them to keep quiet. Were they government agents? Something less human? No one knows, but it adds fuel to the fire. By late 1967, Mothman fever was at its peak. People were terrified, fascinated, or both. Newspapers run wild headlines like "Winged Monster Stalks Ohio River Valley." Locals start carrying guns, patrolling the TNT area, half hoping to catch it, half praying they don't. Then tragedy strikes. December 13th, 1967, the Silver Bridge connecting Point Pleasant to Ohio collapses during rush hour. Cars plunge into the icy Ohio River. 46 people lose their lives. It's one of the deadliest bridge disasters in U.S. history, and the timing is chilling. After a year of Mothman sightings, many believe it wasn't a coincidence. See, some witnesses claim they saw the creature near the bridge in the days leading up to the collapse. Others said they dreamed of a disaster, drowning, screaming, chaos after encountering it. John Keel, the journalist who'd later write The Mothman Prophecies, a book I read when I was in mere grade school, argued the Mothman was a warning a psychic alarm bell ringing before the fall. Skeptics point to engineering flaws, rusted steel, overloaded supports, but for believers, the Mothman became a harbinger of doom. After the collapse, the sightings drop off. It's like the creature vanishes into thin air or back to wherever it came from. But the legend doesn't die. Point Pleasant embraces it, even builds a Mothman statue and museum. Every year they host a festival. Tourists love it, but locals, some still look over their shoulders when the sun goes down. So what is the Mothman? Let's unpack some theories. First up, the natural explanation. Ornithologists suggest it's a misidentified bird. Maybe a barn owl or that sandhill crane again. They've got red eyes when the light hits them, sure, but they don't exactly inspire existential dread. Plus, the size and the speed don't really add up. Then there's the paranormal angle. Some say it's a cryptid, a creature science hasn't cataloged yet, lurking in the wilds of Appalachia. Others call it an interdimensional being slipping through cracks in reality. That TNT area, it's got a vibe. Abandoned, contaminated, perfect for something weird to take root. UFO buffs tie it to extraterrestrials, noting strange lights in the sky around the same time. And don't forget the psychic theory. Keel thought the Mothman was a tulpa, a thought form created by collective fear or energy. Maybe Point Pleasant's anxiety about the Cold War, Vietnam, whatever, birthed this thing. Or maybe it's older, a Native American spirit, a guardian turned ominous. Me, I lean toward the unexplained. The Mothman doesn't fit neatly into any box, and that's what makes it stick with you. It's not just a monster, it's a question mark with wings. Here's the kicker, the Mothman might not be gone. Sightings pop up now and then. Chicago in 2017, dozens of people reported a winged creature with red eyes. Some link it to disasters like 9/11 or Fukushima, claiming that blurry photos or eyewitness accounts. Is it the same entity, a copycat, or just our brains playing tricks? I'll leave that to you, listeners. Next time you're driving a lonely road at night, keep an eye on the rearview mirror. If you see a shadow move too fast or a pair of red eyes that don't blink, well, maybe say a quick hello to the Mothman for me. That's all for this episode of The Shadow Frequency. If you got your own Mothman story or any brush with the unknown, you can drop us a line in the comments. Subscribe, like, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. You know, if you happen to be on YouTube or wherever you're at, subscribe to us, rate us, and join me next time when we explore another strange story. Until then, stay curious, stay cautious, and keep listening for the hum in the dark. I'm Matt Wilson, signing off.